Hello and welcome to another watch review video. Today I'm going to discuss a Tissot watch, and before showing you the watch I thought that I'll show you how it comes in complete. So when you purchase the Tissot T-Touch Expert, then it should come in a box like this with outer sleeve, and if you remove the outer sleeve, then at the back of the box you will see that underneath the box there is actually a book which is the history of the company. Nice little book. Haven't read it actually, although Tissot has a very rich history as a watch company. Currently it's owned by the Swatch Group, which in some sense it's good for them, in other senses I suppose they are now not competing with the likes of Omega as they were in the past. So this shows on the quality of the watches they make. Obviously within the group, Swatch is very keen to distinguish between the lines, so not that they cross on each other's passes, I suppose. You have also another booklet, which on this particular case is like a marketing material when you can view the watches they make. This particular one is the one we are going to discuss today. You can see the full model number below. So you have these booklets, and when you open up the box, the watch would usually be sitting there, and there are little compartments like on both sides. In this particular one you have the international warranty, which for this particular one is not valid anymore, because this one was bought in 2015 originally. And on the other side you will have some more marketing materials, how Tissot is engaging with racing sports and sports in general, as well as this little card which shows the 2-year international warranty. This is how they come with, and some additional spare links for the bracelet. What is rather neat, when you turn it over, here you have a little pouch tucked away nicely, and this is, you know, if you travel you can take the watch, putting it in this little pouch. Nothing is of any real high quality, but considering the pricing, I think this is a nice thing to have. So much about the box and accessories, and this is the watch I'm gonna talk about today. I have bought this watch 2 weeks ago. I used to own a previous version of this, and I really wanted to have a newer version that I can use over the weekends for trekking, gardening, and something that I really naturally don't really have to care about much. So this T-Touch Expert is in production since 2008, and you can still buy them new. It's a very successful model, and although they have come out with a even newer version, and you can now buy the solar powered ones which are bigger. This one is 43.7 millimeters across. It is a rather thick timepiece, as you can see, so it's a rather big watch, and that's basically because of the sensors which are located or beneath here. You can see this is how it gets the measurements. So it's like ventilation gaps, and the sensors are beneath the backplate. Fortunately this model, the Expert, is 100 meters water resistance, has 100 meter water resistance. The previous model, where they started out in 1999, so 20 years ago, a long time ago really, that had only 30 meters water resistance, and I think with 30 meters you couldn't really call it an all-round sports watch. So this is a very welcome change that they managed to put in 100 meters water resistance, which is more than adequate for most sport activities. The bracelet, this one is a titanium version, and it comes on a bracelet, which makes it very light, and this particular bracelet is really nicely finished. I think it looks really great. The whole design of the watch is robust, futuristic, if you want to call it that way, but it's very comfortable to wear. It has nice milled out clasp here. I mean, these are milled out, this is stamped, the actual clasp. It opens with a twin release, so it's very secure on the wrist. And additionally, it does have an extension, as you can see, like so. Not so much a diving extension. This is not a diving watch, although I think you could use it for diving easily with 100 meters water resistance. But if you really think about it, if you go out trekking, hiking, so you are using it purposefully, then in some cases, even if you just go to Scotland, it can get really cold. If you want to have access to your watch, it just makes sense to put it over the coat. And if you put it over the coat, it comes really handy that you can simply extend the bracelet. So I think that's probably the purpose of this particular extension. The watch, I mean, it comes with different dial combinations, and probably the one which people most associate with the Tissot T-Touch is not this one. It's the one where you have, instead of the hour markers, like diamond shapes, which makes it easier to read in poor light conditions. Personally, I find this one easier to read, probably because my eyes are trained to read a dial like this. It also has a carbon fiber type dial, which I'm not entirely sure whether I can show it on camera, but in lights, so especially in sunlight, it adds a very nice depth to the dial, so I think it looks really gorgeous. It has Arabic numerals, and it has the secondary display as well. The current setting, the way I like it, is that it displays the date, month, and the year, and whilst the hands are displaying the actual time, local time where I am. It has an altimeter, a chronometer, a compass, alarm, thermometer, and meteo functions within, and it has the famous touch screen. That's why it's called touch. It actually has written on the back smartwatch. In 1999 this was a smartwatch. Today we are associating smartwatches with the likes of Apple Watch and not so much with something like this or even the Breitling Aerospace, but this was for the time in 1999 a revolutionary thing, and I think the Tissot T-Touch line must be the best seller of Tissot watches. The recommended retail price of this particular one is £795 currently, which is actually a lot of money, but it's packed with features and it's a really comfortable wear, and you get an ETA movement from a Swiss brand which has been in production. I mean, the brand has been in existence since 1853, as they are advertising it on the dial. It also has a rotating bezel. It's because it is for navigation, so it's very easy to move it. Probably too easy for my taste, but I think it's functional, it's easy to grip, it goes both ways, so it's very easy to handle. And now to the functions. So how do you trigger it? You have to press the T on this side. You hear a beep and you can see the T flashing. If you don't do anything, after 15 seconds, then the screen turns off, so to speak, so you are not going to be able to touch it. And you can just go to the different settings. Chrono, for example, easy to start, easy to use. If it's now flashing, so I'm measuring split time, and now turns back. Very intuitive, very simple to use. The compass is a real treat, as you can see. Very easy to navigate. And you can just set it like so and find your weight in the wide. You have two alarm settings. It's currently turned off. Thermometer. Now this one is interesting because I was wearing the watch before I started the video. It takes usually around 10 to 15 minutes to adjust to the room temperature. So if you really want to have a good measurement, you have to take it off your wrist. Okay. Okay, meteo in hydropascals, and if you press meteo again, then you see the absolute one, and this is the interesting thing. So you can, within the function you have chosen, if you press again, you get the secondary functions within that, like by alarm, it's now turned off, but there is another alarm you can see. And in thermo, because the setting is for Celsius, it will not flip to anything else. And if you press the middle, then it goes back to time. If you press again, you can display the running seconds in 24-hour format, and you have also the option to track another time zone. If you press it again, then you go into options, and within options you can select whether you want 24 hours, meters, and Celsius displayed, the time. And what is rather interesting, within options, yeah, you can change the beep whether you want, and you can make it go to sleep. This is a rather nice feature. If you are not using the watch, so if you are using it in rotation and you want to save battery, then you have this sleep mode. It keeps still track of time and the calendar, so you can really reactivate it by just simply pressing one of the buttons and you are back again. I think this sleep function is really useful if you are someone like me who has several watches and he is not going to use this on a day-on-day basis. Then obviously saving battery is a good thing. Actually, this one, to replace the battery, is not that difficult. There are some videos online, you can check them out. So with a proper Phillips screwdriver you are going to be able to do that even yourself. I suppose you don't really have to get it to service it. And let's take a look at it, how it looks on the wrist. I have a 17.5 centimeter wrist size, and it's a 43.7 case. It's a big watch. It has a 20 millimeter lug width and a 20 millimeter bracelet without any tapering, but it's very, very comfortable. I like to wear it a bit loose so it moves around on my wrist, but it doesn't hurt, it doesn't catch any skin, or it doesn't pull the hair. It's very comfortable, it's very light as well, so it's around 135 grams, which is really light for this size of a watch. And it's, yeah, I really like it. I really like the fit, I really like how it looks like, and I was very surprised because I wanted to have one for gardening and weekend, honestly, nothing else. And this is so much more, and I find myself wearing it for the office as well. This is obviously a sport watch, so wearing it with a blazer is probably not the right look, but it's not out of the way, to be frank. It's not something that people would comment on negatively. So I really like this watch, and that's the review. Thank you very much for watching it. Take care, and bye for now.